So Kevin, I've talked about the account planning side. Process definitely has to play a role in pulling that pursuit and that story together. And that's what you do a lot with your clients. So how do you see process playing a role there on that side of the equation?
Process helps immensely because human beings make decisions the same way. Whether you're talking to an engineer in Japan or whether you're talking to a CEO in France, they're still human beings. And we like to think that we're talking to a large organization who's got a very robust decision-making process, and maybe they do, but at the end of the day, the process doesn't make the decision, at least not yet until AI and machine learning really kick in. But human beings make the decisions within the process. And we have to do things like create emotion, because human beings make emotional decisions and then they seek out logic to support those emotional decisions. And we can go in with a ton of logic and data and the client says, hey, Roger, that makes perfect sense. And then they don't do it because we never pulled the emotional trigger for them. Whereas they may have a relationship with one of your competitors and you know what? They value the relationship, even if that competitor's not doing a great job. Boy, it's the devil they know, right? And so it's we've got to be able to pull emotional levers. We have to differentiate. We can't just go in and say all the great things we're doing if our competitors are doing all the same things. And this gets back to governance that I was bitching about a little while ago. Is that when you're in the final three, all of your competitors have a governance system in place.
Yeah.
So why are you spending time talking about something that is utterly undifferentiated? Because people make decisions based on differences, not on similarities. And so, there are some very specific, processes that I work with my clients on using to deliver a message that has all the components that are necessary to drive a decision. But there's also process around practice and delivery and how we answer questions as a team during a pitch. To say that there's a process to that, well, absolutely, because I see individuals who don't have a process in place shoot from the hip and talk over each other and add flavor to each other's answers and spend forever somewhat answering a question the client has versus answering the damn question and letting the client ask more questions, right? Or trying, a great example is, if I've got 3 hours to pitch, well, I'm gonna plan to speak for 2 hours and 55 minutes and leave 5 minutes at the end for questions. And if I get any interruptions along the way, well, then there's going to be no time for questions at the end, and it's a disaster. So having a process in place and knowing how much time to set aside throughout the presentation, how are we going to respond to interruptions and questions? How are we going to hand off? Those all might sound like minor things, but it's the difference between a team that seems cohesive and confident and a team of heathens that were thrown together that are all very, very smart, but can't even agree with each other. How in the hell are they going to make me successful as the client? So the process is really important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.